All right, let's see what we got going on
Justin,
here.
talk to me.
I will put $1,000 on the line if you can beat me in Street Fighter 4.
Right now?
Yeah, right now. I would put,
I'm down.
I'm down too.
I'm down. Let's do it.
I would put $10,000 on the line if you can ever beat me in Street Fighter 3.
Some crazy
I'm
words.
Tasty Steve. This is Minna RD.
Stare down, baby. Meta
All right, if they they've had the one-time Evo champion up there for meta. If they throw the fucking, how many is it for Justin? Like nine-time Evo champion. It's like, come on now.
Evo Japan champion.
This is Justin Wong.
Big heads.
Justin Wong, once again.
Mind you, like 7 of those are for Marvel, not Street Fighter.
Two legends of the FGC are sitting down face to face to debate the hottest topics, and I'll be deciding the winner of each round. Let's face off.
Actually, they all might be for
Do
Marvel.
you guys
I don't
believe
remember.
that Prime Justin Wong would be able to beat Prime Minna? I am going to start with Minna.
I think it depends on the game.
I'm talking Street Fighter.
I think with the knowledge I have now, Justin, of course, he's a legend. He has a chance.
He has a chance. He has a chance. It's crazy.
I will say with the knowledge I have now, even in Street Fighter 4, I will win. That's what I think. Because 5 and 6 are given, because in 5 he stopped midway and all of that. I kept going. 6 he's not competing. But even in 4, I will win. 3, I'm not sure. I've never played that game, but who knows?
Not sure. I've never played that game. Who knows is crazy because Justin is Justin. So saying not sure who knows is insane. Nigga, you've never played. You have no chance. What do you mean?
Okay, well, Justin, talk to me.
I
What are
will
your
put
thoughts?
$1,000 on the line if you can beat me in Street Fighter 4. I would put 10,000.
Right now?
Yeah, right now. I would put.
I'm down.
I'm down too.
Let's do
I
it.
would put $10,000 on the line if you can ever beat me in Street Fighter 3. In Street Fighter 5, I beat him multiple times. He also beat me multiple times. In Street Fighter 6, we never played. Like I said, I don't play. But I watch him so much that I know his weaknesses. I know his weaknesses, and every time
Being able to
I'm
execute on
watching
those
it,
weaknesses
I
is a
can
different
guess
story,
right
though.
on what he's going to do, even though people are saying he's unpredictable. But like, for example, if he plays Blanca, the chances of him holding up back to do OD airball is so high. At least 70%. Look, he's laughing. He knows. 70% of the time. And you know, no, you stopping me?
I'm not stopping you. I'm not stopping you.
70%.
The rules.
That was an uncontrolled
Okay, okay.
something right now. Uncontrolled time.
70% of the time. 70%.
10K, yeah, you'd have to see me
so
right
the fact
there.
that
Nah,
all
facts.
these newer players are so dumb to try to keep grabbing him in the corner, it makes no sense. Because I'm like, bro, can we get the meaty crouch heavy punch? You know, just give him a meaty jump. You know, a meaty, just so he can not hold up back anymore. And you know who does it though? Who does it right? Fudo, the DJs. That's why the DJs cook him right now, right? Because they get hit by the crouching heavy punch all single day. So in my opinion, I think if I was playing, I see weaknesses so commonly, even now as a commentator.
Yo, he kind
I
of
would be
clocked that
able to
nigga. I'm not gonna
enforce it
lie.
If I was in my
He
prime self.
kind of read the fuck out that nigga,
You know
bro.
what I do for it. I saw what you did, though. I'm gonna strike that last one from the record. Strike that last line from the record. I ain't like how you did that. Minna, what's up?
Look, as he talked about my weakness, like I grew up watching fighting games too, right?
Talk to me.
You only said Street Fighter, I will also beat him at Marvel. And you know why? These players were so dumb, they never blocked.
Did he just say he would beat Justin in Marvel, or am I tripping? Wait.
You only said Street Fighter, I will also beat him at Marvel. And you know why?
Let's slow it down. Just a minute.
These players were so dumb, they never blocked low. He always went low. That's all he did. Did the empty jump with Wolverine, always went low. Like that's it. Even if the assist is there, he's never gonna go high. He's never gonna press the launcher and hit you overhead. So I know all he did with Rufus. I know all he did too. Like it's just a lane player trying to go back. He's never gonna really interact. And with this new game, so you think he's really gonna guess right? Justin Wong, come on, man. Like I'm telling you.
Oh my God, it was so saucy.
You talking that good shit.
Oh my God. Bro, wait a minute. He said, I watched the tape. I'm going to hold this down because that's not my vote. He said, he's like, I'm watching the tapes. I know he's going to do up ball with Blanca. My man said, I watched the Marvel tapes. They never block low. Look, all right, look. Oh my God. I'm going to be real. This is a really hard question. If I had to say prime Justin, look, we talking nostalgia. I gotta go with Justin. I gotta go with. I'm sorry, you know I love you.
Sound good.
But I gotta go with the nostalgia, bro.
I'm just saying the next video for Face Off, we do the first to 10 for
The
Street
first
Fighter
to
4.
the
Yes,
first
do
to
it.
10.
First to 10 for Street Fighter 4. We gotta do
This
it.
is content in the making right here. Content in the making. Being on these big stages, you guys have seen them both on both sides of it. And I have seen them personally because I've been on stages with both of you after winning. Who has the greatest pop-offs in victory? I'm gonna start with you. Talk to me.
Between the two of them or like all time? I think the vast majority of fighting game players have extremely, I don't use this word often, okay? I think this word is extremely overused, played out, and normally the people who use it applies to them more than the people they're talking about. But that being said, that means it holds some weight when I use it because I don't like using this word. I think the vast majority of fighting game player pop-offs are extremely cringy. I don't really remember too many like Mena's pop-offs, to be honest. The first one that comes to mind is Justin Wong rolling around on the floor and shit, which not the biggest fan of personally. That's just me. You know.
Overall,
between you and Justin, if you win, who's gonna have the greater pop-off?
I think overall, like consistency-wise, pop-off, like I pop off more often. I pop off more aggressively.
Yeah. Oh, yeah,
And I have the stomach, you know, the cutthroat, you know. I had my own like jump. Yeah, you know, I have the pop-off consistency, but he does have the most legendary one, the barrel, where he actually like fractured. Like I don't know.
I'm not trying to laugh. I promise
he
I'm not
messed
laughing.
himself up. So his pop-offs are not really like crazy, but then he has that one. Like he went crazy and roll. You know. So
Wait.
overall, I'm gonna give it to myself. Pop-off wise, I'm a known pop-off.
That is actually one of my least favorite pop-offs ever.
I'm a known pop-off.
Yeah,
I want that on a bumper sticker.
Steve
I'm a
got
known
crazier pop-offs than both of them
Look, I want
from
you to know
commentating.
I'm actually adding my 2 cents to this, but Justin, go off. Talk to me, bro.
Okay, so I like Menace pop-offs. I love this. This thing was so good.
When he hit the...
Yeah, so
Bro, I was like,
It's
am I
so
Dominican?
good.
Oh, I would have been like, that's how I felt.
it's so good. But my thing about his pop-offs is that he usually, it's not close sets. He just wins and dominates and just pops off. That doesn't count as a pop-off. My pop-offs were like me beating Chris G, who has won all these tournaments. He was the favorite to win. That was a pop-off. There was the 1 year you commentated when I made the comeback against Chris G in 2013. I heard your voice like Justin Wong.
Bro.
Like that was a pop-off. That was a hard-earned pop-off.
Yes.
So I personally think I have hard-earned pop-offs because I make crazy comebacks.
I mean, I don't know. I feel like I see where he's coming from, right? Like it's more hype, where it feels more like, oh shit, like I did something crazy. But I think like when you dominate somebody, like yeah, I guess like if you make it look too easy, then it's kind of like, okay, I see where you're coming from. Because like, why you popping off, nigga? Like you did that shit in your sleep, you know what I'm saying? But like when you really feel like you had to work for it and it was a grit and grinded out type battle and everything, like I see where you're coming from.
While Mena pop-offs, he pops off, you know, he pops off in dominant victories. So I think my pop-offs mean a lot, and that's why he mentioned the barrel roll. Even though it's funny, I didn't fracture my leg though, you know what I mean? It went numb. It went numb, but yeah, that's how I feel about it.
So, all right, look, before we move on to the next one, I want you to know you can check the footage, bro. Bro, I was behind you, bro. It took a lot for me not to just die laughing. But the roll off, when you hit the roll, the artist roll, I was like, that is the most masterful. I wanted to applaud you, but I just wanted you to know I'm never gonna forget that a day in my life. I gotta go with the barrel roll, bro. So I'm gonna say Justin, it don't matter who's right on this. I'm gonna just say that barrel roll lives free in my head for the rest of my life. I feel like one of the most, and everybody loves it except for Justin. Daigo's parry at Evo against Justin being the greatest moment in Street Fighter history. Justin, go.
You know, if you think about it, it is the, I would assume.
Is the Daigo parry the greatest moment in Street Fighter history? In Street Fighter history, probably. Because I mean, like it's by far the most iconic, and I feel like you equate that like being iconic with greatness. like, are there moments that I find more exciting or that I like more? Probably. But in terms of just like the greatest moment, like, yeah, this is because the Daigo Perry thing, like, you know, that's Evil Moment 37. Like, there, you know, Markman designed those Air Force Ones that myself and a bunch of other people own. You know what I'm saying? There's references to that, like, in other pop culture and everything like that. I don't think it gets any greater than that if I'm keeping to the stat. You know what I'm saying? I don't really think anything else comes close to that.
It's the greatest fighting game moment in history. Because one, I feel like if that moment never happened, would we be here right now doing this face-off episode? Right? Because a lot of the
That's
things.
your legacy?
I mean, unfortunately, I have a lot of bad legacies where I get the meme, I get the moment 37. But in general, I think the moment 37 changed a lot of people's lives from like that era and even now. Even though I'm on the losing end, the fact that we have so many people coming up to like just first timers coming to tournaments. Hey, like I watched this moment and I wouldn't have gotten the fighting games if I didn't see this moment, right? The fact that it also became the #1 esports moment of all time, like something from a handy cam, like like America's, you know, America's Home Funniest Videos, those giant like dad cams, like that was recorded by Seth Killian. And the fact that that moment in general is able to beat all these crazy League of Legends, Dota, Counter-Strike moments, just like this old 480p.
Whoa, that's crazy.
Like, I think that's really tells you a lot about just like how important this moment is, how it changed my life, changed Daigo lives, and it changed everybody else that's pursued fighting games in general. So, I mean, without that moment, I mean, there are so many more amazing moments out there, but I just don't see.
Yeah, I agree. I don't see anything being
What are
greater
your
than
thoughts?
that.
Do you feel like that's the greatest fighting game moment ever?
I feel that's the greatest esports moment ever.
Ooh,
And I feel like it's actually underappreciated because people
talk
don't
to
really
me.
understand how hard it is. It's something you will only see one time in your life. But I do want to shine some light into a mother moment, you know, because I wasn't actually there. I just grew up watching it. But I feel like Evo 2017, Tokido versus Punk, I do feel if Punk
That was
had
what
won,
came
that
to
would-
mind when I was trying to think of like more modern moments. That was actually the first thing, because they said Street Fighter specifically, and Punk versus Tokido was the first thing that came to mind outside of moment 37.
was the passing of the torch.
I also think of when IDOM won Capcom Cup. That one was also pretty crazy. And shit, both of Mena's wins are also up there, I would say.
Right there.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like the old generation versus new generation extended.
No
for
shot at the greatest
multiple
esport
years,
moment
even
ever
now,
for sure, Street Fighter.
just
Though. I mean,
because
what would be
Tokido
greater
won
than
and
that
the
in
way he won.
esports?
Oh, free.
Because
Yes, I am.
Street Fighter 5 came out, everybody's talking about the new games. Punk is destroying everybody.
Smoking people.
If Punk had beaten Tokido right there, that was it. I feel like the torch was going to be passed right there. And it's beautiful about how it happened, how the old generation was able to fight back and show us like everybody here gets to play. It's not only the younger ones.
Yep.
So that was like the most beautiful mother moment. No moment is going to top Evo Moment 37, I feel like, in this life, because I just appreciate what happened, right? But I do feel that one was the most important Street Fighter moment out of all these years.
Man, okay. I love the way you put that. I feel like, see, you guys are agreeing too much, so now I got to spice it up a little bit. Now, and this goes earlier back to what, you know, kind of what you were saying. If we fast forward it or rewind it and we put Prime Mena there, would Mena be Daigo in that instance, or would he be Justin? Justin, go.
Well, didn't Justin ultimately end up winning? Like, Daigo did the parry and like won that round, but didn't Justin end up winning in the end?
Mena be Daigo?
Would he be the one that parried, or would he be you in that instance, losing because he got parried? I hate to make you think about it like this, but you said, look, when we talk about Mena's victories, it's him smacking people. There's not much contention. But in this instance, that was like a fight to end all fights. You know what I'm saying? Do you think in that situation it would be him on the receiving end of that parry, or him on the receiving end of that combo?
I actually believe Mena would parry everything because he is a perfect parry god. So the
That
fact
was the
he
just
perfect
finals and
parries
Daigo won the
everything-
set. I don't know who won the tournament though.
And
So then it might have
also-
been that. It might have been that like Daigo won the set, but then lost the tournament. I don't remember. I wasn't there, but I feel like I heard somewhere that like, yeah, Daigo gets all this hype, whatever. He didn't even end up winning. Some shit like that. I can't remember for sure though. Don't quote me on it.
ahead of the game.
Yes.
So he probably also would like, oh, I know he's gonna want to chip me out.
Yeah.
So yeah, I truly believe that's like he's not the lame player. He's brushed that down. You know, like he's the bull. So if there's the beast, that's the bull. So I do think that he will also be the Ken to
Damn,
parry
you
it
see how he
all.
just lifted you up like God.
I mean, it's true. That's what I personally think. I personally think he will parry. Like if it was like if it
I
was
wasn't
Punk,
even
if I was
born when it
Punk,
happened.
he would
My
be the
knees
Chun-Li
just turned to
Trap champ
dust.
because he's a
That's
more
real.
defensive,
That's
lame,
real.
neutral player.
Oh, that makes a
But
lot of
this
sense.
Mena RD, aggressive, more rush down, thinking about the future, thinking about the offense. So yeah, and the perfect parry
Justin
god.
doing
So
spins
I
on
have
it
to
right
give
now.
that.
What can I say?
Look, I'm a agree.
I mean, I feel like this question was like really whack though, because I don't really see how this is a face-off question in terms of like, I don't understand how this was meant to pit Mena and Justin against each other with the original question, and then like Steve put the spin on it with like, oh, could Mena have pulled it off, or whatever. But like, I feel like this was not really fitting in the spirit of what I thought this video was meant to be though.
with Justin. I feel like that's one of those things.
I agree too.
Look,
I hold it up too.
I gotta agree. Look, and the way you broke it down, man, that makes a lot of sense. It plays to like just both of their different play
Dago lost
styles
the
and
grand
just how
finals
they
to
play
KO.
against each other and
Gotcha.
just how the game unfolds overall. That is a good one. That is a good one. Yo, is this a staring contest? Oh, who blinked? Yo, staring contest right now. Do it. Oh, they doing it. Hold on, what you wait? Why you break?
Why are you commentating, bro?
I'm a commentator. That's what I do. You know how we do in the FGC. Like, we have to have like small little quabbles to see who, where your mindset is. Who would win in an arm wrestling competition right now? Go.
Mena.
Oh, I would lose.
You lose. Then you just go forfeit.
That's
the bull. That is the bull.
That is the bull.
That is the bull, though.
I will lose.
So you'll give him that victory.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Would you take that?
I'll take it. I'll
Okay.
take it.
All right. Well, if that's the
I
case,
got wrist to take care of, like-
Yeah. I'm old, 38, arthritis. You know what I
you
mean?
got insurance. You got a baby to hold.
Yeah,
I feel
exactly.
you. I feel you. All right. Okay. With that one. All right. Since we're
My
not
leg
gonna do
game
that
is
one.
better though.
The leg game is better?
My calves is kind of nice. Actually.
Oh shit.
Yo.
Bro said
Yo,
leg
my
press though. I
talent.
got
Next
that.
one is a race. Y'all ready right now? We just clear out the. No. I'm just
I might get the race though. Actually.
We can do it. We can do it. Yeah, we definitely can do it right now. I'm down.
No.
That boy Mena said any time, any place, any competition,
Let's move
sign me
away
up.
from the
I'm
battles.
washing
You
your
guys are
ass.
scooting closer and closer together. The table started to move, and we knocked over signs. We need to take this a little lighter. All right. So, obviously, we've all had our story, our history in the fighting game community, right? And I feel like we all have seen our fair share of amazing things, right? But I want to know personally from both of you, what is the greatest achievement in fighting game history? Minute.
Greatest achievement in fighting game history. In fighting game history. So some of the ones that come to mind immediately are Justin obviously having the most amount of Evo wins. Arslan Ash dominating Tekken 7 and then winning 4 Evos, I think is pretty ridiculous. Sonic just being the multi-game champion that they are, I think is up there. Kazunoko as well. Yeah, I'm trying to think how many players actually have like Evo like main stage wins in like multiple titles. Because I know Sonic has done it, right? Sonic has obviously won Injustice, Mortal Kombat, Dragon Ball Fighters, Skullgirls. Shit. Those are the ones that come to mind immediately. You have Mena obviously being the only 2-time Capcom Cup champion. I think that one is a pretty big one as well. Yeah, those are some of the biggest ones that immediately come to my mind. Like obviously, you sit here, you can think about all types of ones, but those are the ones that immediately come to mind.
I will say the greatest achievement in fighting game history for me, it will definitely be the 8 Evos Justin won has, because I feel like it's just.
If that's the greatest achievement in fighting game history, though, that's definitely getting surpassed. I mean, like you think about it, how many does Sonic right now? How many does Sonic have right now? And mind you, Sonic is only like 25. Never mind, Sonic turns 26 this year, and Sonic has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. No wait, that can't be right, can it? Their Liquipedia says they have 7 Evos. Maybe they do. Let me see real quick. I'm trying to find the list real quick of like the players that have like the most. I need to just have this bookmarked at some point. This article is old. This is a list of champions, but not ranked in order of who has the most of them. Either way, like I'm extremely confident. There's, oh wait, here it is. I found it. All right. So Justin has a total of 9, with all of them except for 1 being from Marvel. So he has, what is this? Like 7 of them are from Marvel 2, 1 from Marvel 3, and then 1 for Street Fighter Third Strike. Sonic Fox has 7 titles right now. Injustice, MKX, 2 for MKX, 1 for DBFZ, MK11, Skullgirls, and MK1. Zero doubt in my mind Sonic passes Justin. Shit, maybe in the next couple of fucking years. You know what I mean? Infiltration, aka Voldemort, Daigo has 6. Arslan Ash could pass Justin, and doing it off of just Tekken. And I'm debating in my head, like, is it more impressive to do it across multiple games or to dominate one game that much? Because like Arslan has 5 Evo championships and it's all from Tekken. 2 from Tekken 7 in Evo Japan, 2 from Tekken 7 regular Evo, and then 1 for Tekken 8. Like, you know what I mean? Like, which is crazier to just, because like Justin got 7 of his from Marvel 2. You know what I'm saying? MVC 2. So it's like, that's crazy in and of itself. But at the same time, like Sonic doing it in completely different games, like, yeah, half of these are NRS. But then DBFZ is completely different from those games. And then they have Skullgirls in the mix as well. And God forbid another big game comes out that they actually really, really like. You know what I mean? So, I don't know, man. That shit crazy.
Disputable. There's nothing you can say about it. And everybody, you know, all of the great players have like.
Yeah, I think I would also lean toward multiple games.
But
I think I would also lean toward the multiple.
Close to having 8 Evos. So I feel like, you know, with all due respect, like it was his game. It was Prime Justin, the best in Marvel 2. But at the same time, this is not really relevant. Like if you're able to do that in any game, then that's just too much, and that's the main argument of the people that think he is the GOAT. And if I said Justin is the GOAT, I have the 8 Evos in my head, and I feel like not many players have something so big, you know.
Hey, bro, I can't. That's real right there. That's real right there. I know. We just came from battling each other, and he giving you mad praise. But I got a follow up after this. But what is the greatest achievement in fighting game history? You got a lot of them under your belts too. So whichever one you choose, I just want to hear the story. I want to know.
Man, I feel like the
yeah,
greatest
I don't know. The way Sonic was looking at 2XKO,
so
we might be able to
like,
give that
really
trophy to them right
for
now.
Me, it's,
there you go.
You know, I appreciate the compliment from NRD, but I'm gonna go away from that. I think it's.
Hold on. ZC Raider says multiple is impressive, but being able to dominate one mainstream game that probably has higher quality of ops, I don't know, tough to say, which is crazier. Excuse me. We got to think about it. Outside of Skullgirls, the games that Sonic was entering weren't small either. The year they won Evo, DBFZ was the biggest game at Evo that year. I want to say it had like 4,000 or 5,000 entrants or something crazy like that. So, you know. And the only person they lost to was Goichi.
For me, it's 2000.
The next year, that is. And he got second place. But yeah, dominating like that is still pretty nuts.
Super Turbo. And
but I think obviously as well, and again, not to discredit Justin or anything like that, but it's also something to be said that like the competition in these games is way fiercer now than ever before. Players are better now, and there's more players than there were before. You know what I mean? So like, I think it low key might be more impressive that Arslan is as dominant right now as they are in Tekken than it was that Justin dominated MVC2 for so long. Because I think I'm trying really hard not to discredit Justin's greatness, but I don't know if Justin would win. Let's say if MVC2 was a brand new game that just released this year, right? And let's say Justin is 22 instead of 38 right now. If Prime Justin and MVC2 are in the modern era, would Justin still win 7 Evos for that? Potentially, likely. But I think because of the, you know, there's obviously more players, there's an easier spread and share information, you know what I'm saying, like that. I just feel like it'd be a lot more difficult to do than it was during his reign. And he might just be good enough to still fucking do it. He is the greatest Marvel 2 player of all time, and he's still striking fear in the hearts of people now. You know what I'm saying? Y'all heard about the Wazzler? You know what I'm saying? But yeah.
In the same year. So he won 2 Evos.
No, that's real. That's
really? He won 2 Street Fighter Evos in the same year, and he beat Nuki in ST, beat Japan in ST, and he beat Boss in CVS2. grand final. So he won 2 Evos.
John Choi.
Won 2
Choi, the
Evos.
fireball
That's
god.
the last time NA has ever won Street Fighter. No, like USA has ever won Street Fighter at Evo. So I think that's personally the greatest fighting game accomplishment. And not a lot of people talk about that.
Yeah.
He's the only player that has won 2 Evos in 1 year.
Yeah, I mean.
Like in the same tournament.
Is that even, like, can we run that back? Is that gonna be, we gonna be able to do that again? Man, I love that it started off with like praise, but I also like the fact that like Justin was like, yo, you can take me like out of the equation.
I'm surprised
and, like,
Sonic hasn't
there's
won
still
like 2
things
main
that
stage
exist out of
games
that.
in the
So
same year at
I'm
Evo. Yeah.
sorry, I gotta go against you one more time.
No, it's okay.
But,
That was I didn't even know.
like, no, for real. Dog, John Choi, look, I'm gonna tell you right now, to this day, bro, like, still be online playing fighting games and mystifying people with how well he can throw a fireball. People still don't be like, this dude was walking forward. Like, they really don't even get it, but John Choi is a legend out there.
The year before I won the second Capcom Cup, he gave me some advice because I asked him about fireballs, and it was crazy.
Yeah, I'm telling you, bro, we can write a
He's a
book about
legend, bro.
fireballs. He can write a book. Shout out to John Choi,
out to
man.
John
Shout out
Choi.
Shout out
to
to John Choi, the fireball guy.
Let's talk about, and this still goes to the old school versus the new school. Older tournaments versus newer tournaments. With everything that we've just put on the table, the fact that you can go on the internet and see it, the fact that you can go and look at people's replays, the fact that you can easily go to upload and reload tournaments and go to YouTube, the whole nine. Do you feel like older tournaments are harder? Because obviously I was with you watching the fact that this was popping up in
Okay. So there's 2 sides to this. Are older tournaments more difficult or are newer tournaments more difficult? Some of the games back then were more difficult to play from an execution standpoint. Getting good at those games was also more difficult because the internet not being what it is today, information not being shared and accessed as easily and everything like that. So there's that. However, in today's age, in today's era, there's more players, there's better players because they're able to train with more people and share information and share tech and everything like that, and that makes things a lot more difficult. So I mean, like, there's 2 sides to it. If you were to ask me, I think tournaments are probably more difficult today than they were before, sheerly off of just the number of competitors and the overall player strength being higher now than it probably was back then. But like, the older tournaments had their fair share of difficulties as well.
the back of a magazine. I only knew people by name, not gameplay. But this is a little different for us now. Literally, we can just turn on, you can go to Twitter. I can open my phone and see tech. Do you feel like tournaments now reflect the fact that it's easier to be better at fighting games now, based off your opinion?
I believe tournaments are more difficult now. And the good thing about tournaments is not like skill, it's just facts, it's numbers. Do you feel the culture regarding fighting games have changed a lot in Japan, or is it the same? Like, they just keep playing fighting games?
I feel like the changes that they use, it's made them better because they've made a stronger community.
They're
off
actually
of it.
better now, right?
Yeah, they are, because
So,
they made it a community.
Listen to this, because they're actually better now. Back then, you dropped one Japanese, he won the tournament right away. Here we have 50, 60 Japanese, they're losing. So that's just facts, it's just numbers.
So you're saying with that alone, just the fact that we have so many international players, especially on the Japanese side of things, specifically for Street Fighter, that should tell you that fighting games now are a lot harder because of that.
It's facts, because you remember, like, for example, and I see, you know, I respect because of the times what happened.
Yeah.
Back then you had Daigo, you had his manager that made top 16 because, you know, and you had like his coach also made top 16, but Daigo will win the tournament. And if somebody put up some fight, took a game or two, that's it. But if I come to Evo right now, I lose to Daigo, is it an upset or not? That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
I think that's a good point, but no, I'm going to come to you on this side.
I've been
obviously.
dying to talk.
Well, I appreciate you hold yourself, you know what I'm saying? Being respectful.
I've been dying to talk. So 100%, I think the Japanese fighting game community is worse now. It's worse
Really?
now because you know why? Let me tell you something.
Talk to me, Justin.
Bro, no,
Hold on,
let me tell you something.
wait.
I'm interested to see what angle he takes. 'Cause the only way I could see you making the argument that they're worse is that, relatively speaking, to other regions right now, they're weaker than they were before, or compared to where they were in the past, relatively, because there's less gatekeeping. Tech isn't like hidden as much, and there's more film on the Japanese players. There's more practice against the Japanese players and things of that nature. I don't really see otherwise how you could say that they're weaker, unless you just mean like in a relative sense, like comparatively so. Because it's like, yeah, before they were a lot more difficult because they were more close knit. America was more spread apart. If you didn't live in a region like a New York or a LA, a SoCal, you know what I'm saying, where you could like regularly meet up with people in practice, you were outmatched. They had a closer knit community that could play together more consistently, and they would develop tech that wouldn't be seen overseas until they applied it in a tournament. Whereas now that's not the case as much because people are getting more experience against international play. The tech, the matches, the footage, you can all see it, digest it, steal it, copy it, learn how to lab against it, all that other stuff. So that's the only argument I can see, but let's see where this goes.
Men are D1. Congratulations, by the way. You know, you're a champion. You know what I mean?
What a legend,
You
what a
are
god.
a champion.
I see you,
but
a legend.
But you're not going to tell me those pools were not the most freest pools in the freaking world. Those pools were so easy. I had friends that I'm like.
So yeah, that's also true, where like pools can be easier, but I don't really know if that matters because once you get up to a certain point, because first of all, there's way more pools. Like Evo and Combo Breaker and events like this are so big now that yeah, you have a lot of players you just have more people who are playing fighting games that aren't that great, but you also have a lot more that are playing that are really good. So, you know, like the pools may be easier, but like once you start getting to top 48s, 32s, 16s, and definitely top 8s, you know what I'm saying? It's killers. Like how many events have we seen already this year, whether it's Tekken or Street Fighter or whatever, and you're in like top 48, you're like, yo, so-and-so's already playing against so-and-so? Like it's top 48, nigga, this could have been a grand final. You know what I'm saying? Like you get grand finals caliber matches, like it's starting in top 48 or top 32s of like these events now.
I don't even play this game, and they got out of pools at Evo Japan. So based off of that, when you think about it, and I lived in both ends of the spectrum, right? Seeing the Street Fighter 6 player playing ranked matches, any top international player will go to Japan and they'll get the #1 CFN spot because the points there are free, easy to get, right? So one, easier to play currently, and the Japanese FGC community is much weaker because back in the day, when you think about Third Strike, when you think about CVS2, when you think about ST, nobody in the world,
air in Japan.
yeah, nobody, no other country in the world can beat them in those respective games, and that still holds true up to this day. Even if the community, currently the community, right, has grown so much in online for the older games, more than now. Third Strike at Evo is the most entrants ever in Evo.
Okay.
But you know what? Ultimately, in the end, Japan is going to dominate.
What are your thoughts about what Justin just said?
So, first, you know, with all respect to the legend right here, he's assuming a lot. He's saying, oh, you know, they get #1 in CFN. It doesn't mean they're playing the best of the best in Japan, right? So usually I see the best players in the world go to Japan. They actually...
That's a good point. Like, it sounded like Justin was spitting when he said it, but then also it's like, nigga, it's ranked. That don't really mean anything because you can cherry pick your matches or you could just be playing against weaker players or whatever. Like, how many times have you played a fighting game and you've seen somebody who's a max rank, whether it's Street Fighter, Dragon Ball FighterZ, Guilty Gear Strive, and they suck? Because there are more players, like, yes, there's more players. So while that means that there's more good players, it also means that there's more bad players. How many like Xeno ranked players did y'all see me fight in DBFZ who were garbage? How many times have you watched Guilty Gear, somebody streaming and they're playing a Celestial Floor player who's terrible? Or a master rank player in Street Fighter, you're like, how the fuck did this guy get master rank? You know what I'm saying? So yeah, like just because you can get to #1 on the leaderboard doesn't really mean a whole lot because the #1 player on the leaderboard in any fighting game is very rarely actually a top player, I feel like. Maybe not very rarely, but it's oftentimes not even a top player, just some random demon online who just plays online a lot and or is a rage quitter or cherry picks or matches, whatever. And even if it is a top player coming from another region going to Japan getting #1 ranked there, doesn't mean that they just dominated all the other top Japanese players. It just means that they beat up on other players online, you know what I'm saying, which could have been anybody.
Get cooked. You know, I see it. Japan is the strongest region in the world right now, even if they're losing most of the events. That tells you a lot of how strong they are. And another thing is, and this is the main argument I'm going to tell you, and this is why I believe facts. You're telling me Japan is weaker right now. Every single world title I've won, if in Japan or Asia, I haven't seen the Americans at the finals. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. So if they were as weak as Justin is saying, why am I meeting them every single time at nighttime, at Sunday, every single time?
I gotta give somebody the argument. And look, I'm of the old school with Justin, but I gotta give it to Nino on this one. I'm looking at these tournaments and I'm seeing Japanese players still come out and do work, regardless if they're not winning. So when you said that, that's when I was like, oh, he's looking at this. Even if they're not winning, the fact is they come out and they are holding up every pool that they're in. There is not a tournament you go to that if you're going, even if you go to Europe, you're gonna be like, yo, is there any Japanese players there? That's who you're looking for. Justin, trust me, I'm right there, I feel you, but we gotta move on. We've talked about games getting easier. We've talked about the fact that, it's easier to see any person's resources and replays. But let's talk about that modern aspect of it. Do you guys believe in the next 5 years that arcade stick will be obsolete? Justin, go.
I love arcade sticks.
When he says obsolete, what does he mean? Like people just won't use it anymore, or it's out of date? Because I think it's already obsolete in the sense that a better product that is more popular has been introduced. You know what I'm saying? There's a more efficient, more popular, and just factually better product that exists now in leverless controllers. But I mean, the thing is, like, in the next 5 years, I don't think so, because there are too many players who still find fight sticks as a novelty and they still like that and prefer that or whatever. So they're not going to be completely gone in 5 years, but in 5 years, are they going to be pretty heavily outnumbered by leverless controllers? They might already be.
I still use arcade stick to this day. I can use pad. I can use leverless controllers as well too. It's just, I don't think it's going to be obsolete.
Okay.
I think leverless controllers are really good.
I think we're already at a point where arcade sticks are predominantly played by older players, and even a lot of those older players play on leverless now. Like Daigo uses a hitbox, you know what I mean? Like, we're seeing a lot of older players make that transition, and you still have some younger players who use arcade stick, but I think that's going to get farther and fewer between.
For Street Fighter games, but for Marvel games or like fast-paced games, air dashing games, I think ultimately joysticks is the better controller for them in general. I think pad can play on everything. Pad is definitely the controller that can play everything. If there are more collections coming back, like the Marvel 2 collection, then stick will always reign supreme, because I do think pad and leverless are actually trash on older games, because
I kind of agree with that.
yeah, because
older games are
have
not designed
easier
for pad. They're
inputs.
designed
That's
for
why
arcade
leverless
sticks.
controllers and pads exist, but older games with more like just like restricted inputs and everything, kind of more delicate, and you have to be frame perfect, joysticks is always going to be the better option. So if there is maybe a Capcom collection for CVS coming back, or a Third Strike revival, joystick all the way. No matter what, I don't see any other controller replacing the top players in the top meta in the older game.
And you are a championship controller user. You talked, I love to hear how you would respond to this, because obviously I feel like you're right there in that spot where it's like, there's a lot of leverless talk. Like, I feel like I see more leverless than I do regular arcade sticks these days. What are your thoughts on it?
I do feel it all depends on where the games actually go. So if they have like simplified inputs like modern, or I don't know if you've seen like the down inputs for the DP in Street Fighter 6, then I do feel arcade stick is gonna become a little bit rare to see. It's never gonna be obsolete because of the history, you know, and what he's saying, like retro games, we can always go back and play them. But I do feel if the inputs keep going that way, the way they're heading right now, then there's no reason to not play keyboard or pad. And even if, like, I still have I do believe we might move away from buttons. Like, that's sadly the future.
Connect to our brains.
Yeah, maybe touch, maybe like cell phone. Yeah,
brains.
so everybody is like trying out like cell phone games and all of that. And when the time comes, I'm gonna be one of the ones like, this is not a real fighting game, you know. But I think it's inevitable. I think it's gonna happen with the simplified inputs. So yeah, I do feel there's gonna be a moment where seeing an arcade stick is gonna be like, wow, you know, you still have one of those.
All right, so with that being said, I am a man of the old school part, right? And I really have to say, I gotta be real, Justin. I 100% agree with you, bro. Like, for me, like, I'm an old school arcade rat. Like, that's where I started. I do feel like it's nostalgia, don't get me wrong. And I see where it will become a thing of dinosaurs, but also, I feel like that will be the pure. Like, I feel like that will be the purest. And I don't think it's a bad thing either or, in all honesty. I love seeing arcade sticks. I get nostalgia. I'm like, my man's rocking a Moss stick over there. Or he's rocking a, you know, I love
Mad Catz
seeing that.
TE2,
Hitting the
you
deck
feel
will
me?
never not be something that's nostalgic to me, but I agree with you, Justin. You got me on this one. Justin, you'll have some expertise in this, but I would love to hear your opinion. I'm going to start with Minna. So old school arcade players are better than modern players. Talk to me.
Yes.
Yo, cut, clean, simple, yes?
Yes, because
I think this question needs more context or like more detail.
And I've seen the new players, like what they're doing, the young players, even my generation, and the focus is all about abusing the mechanics, having the reactions ready. The old players, you can tell when you fight them, the focus was fundamentals, neutral, controlling the spacing. And as soon as I fight an old player, I have a hard time. Because I know, like, I really have to focus and not whiffing and not walking too much and not giving him a pattern that he can recognize. So, I don't know. I feel like young players are better at, like, playing faster and reactions and all of that. But overall,
that's a good
I'm
point.
going with the arcade players for sure.
Justin, give me your expertise, sir.
How am I supposed to argue about that? You know what I mean? How am I supposed to argue about it? Like he mentioned it on Twitter recently about how like old school players just have a stronger mindset than most newer players. And I mean, he's right about newer players having, you know, they play faster reaction time and everything, because the modern fighting games are really all about the faster reaction times. But I think there's something with the old school fighting game players where there's a lot of instinct in their heart when they play. It's not just frame data. And I think the new school players, they rely too much on the frame data.
They need the numbers.
Yeah, so they don't have like the heart of like taking the read, making the right decision, making all these different interesting scenarios happen to kind of like confuse the opponent. So I think old school players are better in terms
I can
of that
definitely see
regard.
that, because I'm somebody who gets caught up in that myself, where I feel like I am somebody that does have instinct, that does have heart, has soul, but I do feel like at times you could kind of lose the soul of a fighting game player by being overly dependent or reliant upon the numbers and the frame data and the statistics and this and that. I was plus here. You know what I'm saying? Like, there is an art, there is a certain spirit, there's a certain technique and skill to knowing I'm going to mash here. I'm making this read. I'm going to do this move, even though it would be crazy here, because I'm really confident he's going to do this, or what, you know what I'm saying? Things like that. And like, that's part of my game. But I definitely know that I'm the type of player who at times I become too reliant and too dependent on, like, these are the numbers, this is what should happen. And it's not, like, fighting games are not played by the numbers. Even Tekken, which is a game that seems super reliant on frame data, you know what I'm saying? I do think the better you understand that you have a frame data, the better a player you will be, but that's not the end all be all of a fighting game. And that goes for Tekken or Street Fighter or anything.
But newer players are better at executing what the game is supposed to tell you how to play the game.
Yeah, they're definitely, and what I was gonna say was they're definitely better at like abusing the system to get the win rather than the fundamental side that was initially there. All right, hold on. We gotta, and like I said, I have to agree with my bro Mena, and obviously you already agree with him as well. I love the fact that you are from like the newer era and you have that understanding. That's one of the reasons I really resonate with you, because I could talk to you about stuff like this, and you understand like that there's a lot of moving pieces to it. It's not saying 100% is set in stone. Everybody has their own opinion, but I'm glad to see that there is a general consensus among some of the people that share the same mentality. So that's a good part there. Here we go. This is a real-time matchup instance right now. Okay, Justin, hit me with the heart meme real quick. Complete the heart meme. Boom. Oh, that's history right there. I like how he was like. It was like the superpowers connected right there. That was beautiful. We need to get that in slow-mo. That's what we need to do. Now, we're going a little bit over time, a little bit off script, because, look, we talked about the topics that are always talked about on the Twitters and the X's. So now, I want to ask two of the GOATs, who do they believe is going to be on a Street Fighter fighting game Mount Rushmore. But the way we're going to do this, we're going to let each one of them choose one, and we're going to go back and forth. And
we've talked a lot about the fighting game Mount Rushmore on this stream, and I still don't think I have my solidified 4, because I feel like it's just so difficult to choose only 4 players. But I think for me, Sonic Fox, Kazunoko are like an absolute must. And then like, I think people immediately want to throw like Daigo or Justin Wong there, right? But then what about Takedo? What about so many of these other like multi like fighting game players and champions and stuff? And it's just like, it's so hard. It's so hard.
start with MNRD.
Well, for sure, my first pick is definitely Daigo Umehara, you know?
Daigo
He's
Umehara.
definitely gonna be there.
Okay. Daigo for Mena. Justin, who we got next to Daigo on the fighting game Mount Rushmore is...
Pick yourself.
Well, if I had to choose my GOAT of all time for a Street Fighter, Tokido.
Tokido. We were just talking about Tokido. Tokido number 2. Daigo for Mena. Tokido for Justin. Number 3 on the fighting game Mount Rushmore. You're going to take your children to see this.
Also, it better not be all Street Fighter players, because I mean, well, Street Fighter does have some of the greatest fighting game players of all time, because a lot of them, like Daigo and Takedo, are people who like they're Street Fighter players, but they've dominated in some other games as well and have won across a multitude of titles. So, you know, I just feel like, for me, I just feel like Sonic has to be up there. Like, I just don't think that's like arguable, debatable, or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, when you talk about the greatest fighting game players of all time, like, I know Sonic is still super young, and like Street Fighter is like the only game they haven't fucking dominated in. But
I'll go with this. He didn't play 4. He didn't like it. That's the issue, right? That's the main thing. But I feel because of his dominance in Third Strike and also how good he was in Turbo, I would put Onuki there. That's just how I feel. I feel like he
Next to
dominated
Tokido.
too much. Yeah, I think so.
see, they're building a Street Fighter Mount Rushmore instead of just a fighting game Mount Rushmore.
Justin turning his head, adjusting his body in his seat. Onuki next to Tokido, who is next to Daigo.
Let me go back and double check. They said fighting game Mount Rushmore when he posed the question, right? Yeah, who was on the FGC Mount Rushmore? It's not just Street Fighter. FGC Mount Rushmore. And like, you know what I'm saying?
Last person on the fighting game Mount Rushmore is Justin.
I have to go with my favorite fighting game player of all time. It has to be Momochi.
Momochi.
Yeah, no, y'all niggas just built the Street Fighter Mount Rushmore. That's all that is.
Momochi, bro.
So just all.
And again, like all these guys have played other games, but like these are Street Fighter players. You know what I mean?
all
Like,
Japan. That's where we at.
The thing is, I think Street Fighter is just so much because there's so much history, so much games, and I think that there are obviously a lot of strong players from different regions. But maybe if it's like Street Fighter 7 or Street Fighter 8, then we can like kind of like include more internationals. That's just my personal opinion. But from the results that they did in SBO, just Evo and Capcom Cup, because I mean, Momochi, I mean, the Nuki, I'll be honest, I'm surprised on Nuki one. That's a big surprise for me, because I don't think I would put Nuki up there, me personally.
Okay, look. That's why we did the 1-in-1. That's why we did the 1-in-1. Well, now that we've gotten through all our questions here on the Face Off, it's only right I have to designate one winner. And the winner of FGC Face Off
I mean, well, Justin won by the points,
is
obviously, but
Justin Wong. A lot of great points made between both of these legends, these contenders. But look, we can only have one winner, and both of them made a lot of great
I enjoyed
points
this video,
between
but I
the
think
two,
they
and
could
agree
use
with them
better
on a lot,
questions
but
to really
we
like
can
pit
only
them
have
against
one
each other,
winner,
because there's a lot of
and
stuff like
that
they were
is
agreeing
Justin
on.
Wong. Everybody watching, be sure to like and subscribe.
But a couple of the
If
questions
you
I
want
just
to
didn't
see
really
more
feel
content
like
this, check out our other videos.
were
on
good for the
PlayStation
spirit
Sports.
of the concept of the video. That was a really good video, though. I really enjoyed that. That was really cool. That was really cool. I might.